No law before Moses? Adam, who is our father, sinned. And that causes each person since him to do what? To sin. Sin goes through each of us. And that causes us to outwardly sin. Is it true that Adam sinned and that was carried down to us? Yes. There's evidence. What is it? People die. Therefore, just as sin came into the world through one man, and death through sin, and so death spread to all men because all sinned. Hold on. At that time, Adam sinned, and then all the time since then, when the people were born, up until the time that Moses gave the law, well, those people, they seemed innocent. Why? There was no law. Well, if there was no law during that time, then you can't accuse people of being guilty of sinning. Hang on. Paul already knows that. He's ready for the answer. Paul says sin is already there during that time, for sure. For sin indeed was in the world before the law was given. Paul, he established the point clearly. Adam sinned, and all people have sinned. All. Yes, Paul also said that if there is no law, and the person sins, he cannot be guilty of it. Sin is not counted against him, right? That's right. But sin is not counted where there is no law. Yes, that is true. But at the same time, during that time, before the law was given to Moses, there is some kind of law. There is the law that people have before Moses gave it to them. Well, how could this be? Well, the law is written on their heart. People since the time of Adam, but before the Mosaic law was given, they have no excuse because they generally know that they are doing wrong. They know they are sinning against their Creator God. They know. They're without excuse. For what can be known about God is plain to them because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made, so they are without excuse. People can't deny and say, I'm not guilty, I'm not. They have a little voice inside them that tells them you are guilty. Even if you ask that person, hey, what you're doing, is it wrong? They're defensive. Well, why are they defensive? How do they know to be? Well, because they know they're wrong. For when Gentiles who do not have the law, by nature do what the law requires, they are a law unto themselves, even though they do not have the law. They show that the work of the law is written on their hearts, while their conscience also bears witness, and their conflicting thoughts accuse or even excuse them. It's clear. There is a law inside the heart. Paul is picking on them, saying, you've sinned. No. Paul just wants to emphasize to all people that everyone since Adam is guilty. He's comparing Adam to Jesus. And the answer is that Jesus solves the problem of sin. We're going to learn more about that later. You know, there's people today who believe that there's no right or wrong, no absolute truth. Whatever a person feels like doing is fine. Why? Because there's no absolute truth. There's no right or wrong. They say that we have no right to judge them. Okay. Well, suppose we ask them a question and say, if we go ahead and judge you, do you think we're wrong? Well, what are they going to say? They're going to say, yes, you're wrong. You shouldn't judge me. Well, before they said there's no absolute truth, no right or wrong. Now they say you shouldn't judge me. That's a contradiction. There really is a right and a wrong. It's true. We all have the law written on our hearts. Coram Deo. To live coram Deo is to live one's entire life in the presence of God, under the authority of God, to the glory of God.